Guys, good afternoon. Welcome to the Caring for Creatures show. My name is Jerry Miller. It's a pleasure to be with you Thursday, 3 o'clock on the I Love Seville Network. The Caring for Creatures show, of course, spotlights all the fantastic endeavors and efforts and vision and momentum that Mary Birkholz, the president and founder, is kind of implementing and putting into reality with her and her team in Fluvanna County. Caring for Creatures, and I encourage you to go to caringforcreatures.org, saves the lives of the most at-risk animals, we're going to say, on the eastern seaboard by welcoming them to Fluvanna County for a second shot at life at Mary's Sanctuary in Fluvanna County, which is just a beautiful place and a beautiful story. I think, Harris, let's go to the two-shot. And Mary, first, hello, how are you?
Yes, greetings. It's Thursday.
It's
Yay.
Thursday. You got a haircut?
I did.
Yeah.
He always notices. You're quite the guy, you know?
I try.
Most guys don't do that.
Well, it looks good.
Unless they don't like it. And then they go, what the hell happened to your
No,
hair? Yeah, no.
stop.
I'm kidding.
Mary's got a great haircut, and she's an awesome person. We start the program, and the giggle you hear over here is from Mallory. She has great energy and is always a welcome addition to the show. We start with the CFC notebook and the week that was, Mary Birkholz.
Yes, my notebook. First and foremost in our notebook is the sponsors of our show, which I am just too overly grateful to. Charlottesville Veterinary Hospital. Dr. Marty Betts and his crew are amazing folks. And Marty was here on the show not that long ago, and hopefully we'll invite him back again when his schedule permits. Happy Tales sounds like a great place, doesn't it? And it is. It's a wonderful pet food supply primarily, but they have lots of things, toys, crates, what have you. They're in Palmyra, not right near Lake Monticello. And then another Charlottesville company, Pet Supplies Plus. We've worked with them for a few years, and they are great. They, I noticed, but I don't have the details, so I apologize for that. But they have a trainer coming in for some instruction, so you may want to get in touch with them on the details about that. But thank you, one and all. We have 2 animals that went on hold for adoption today, or this week, rather.
Congratulations.
Casey is a dog, and Pumpkin, and it's a senior cat. Guess what color he is?
Is he orange? You guys come up with the best names. Pumpkin, Dave the dog.
Dave the dog. But I will say this about Dave the dog. This week, he ended and completed his heartworm quiet time. That's all. So that's all done.
So he's
now.
good?
Yeah, it was good.
Good. You saw Dave the dog in our Greenberries campaign.
Yeah,
he was amazing.
He is amazing. Yeah, so he was happy to meet another dog friend today because it was like forever. We wouldn't let him, get too active. And so he was having a good day today.
So Pumpkin is going to potentially a forever home?
Yes, she is.
That's amazing.
Definitely. Or he is. I think it's a he, isn't it? I'm sorry. Yeah,
okay.
It's one of those names.
Yes,
so is Casey, a female dog. And coming Saturday, as Mallory mentioned, is Cricket. Cricket is coming from a high-kill facility, and sadly, that particular facility has had to begin euthanizing some animals due to lack of space.
How hard is it for those facilities to make that decision?
Oh,
that's brutal for them?
I would have to think it is.
Yeah.
These people really do care. And I've seen videos, in fact, with a dog that we ended up taking, and nobody was taking this dog. He had 2 days before they were going to have to start euthanizing. And in the video, this wonderful person, because I've seen her in videos before, showing the animals off. And, her voice was cracking. She knew it was it. And nobody had stepped up to put this guy on hold. So it broke my heart because I know how we approach the animals and the odds that are against them. So we ended up putting Max on hold, and he's with us now, so he'd made it. But Cricket, Max. I don't know if you're seeing, is Cricket up? Did you get to put Cricket up?
Harris,
yeah?
Show her again. Show Cricket again.
Yeah, okay. Isn't he handsome?
Cricket is it a male?
I don't know. Now
Female.
that you're saying that, all of a sudden I feel
Isn't
stupid.
she handsome?
Yeah.
It's a female. Isn't she handsome?
Just making sure.
Okay, it's been a long day.
It's a good thing Mallory is here. Let's go studio cam
thank
and
you,
welcome
God.
Mallory to the show. Is that Cricket
That's
right there?
her. That's
That's
her.
her.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Cricket.
pretty.
Yeah, she is
Yeah.
pretty. What do we got there? What kind of do we have?
My goodness, I don't.
We
do you
have
think
no
some
clue.
Lab?
We could have some lab in there.
I see
She
lab.
could have
Pit?
Dalmatian?
I don't-
little pit.
Yeah,
No?
she has those
What do you
speckled
see in her
ears.
spot?
Let
That
me-
on her back.
What was this? spot?
Both
Was that
Mallory
Africa?
and I saw
Wait,
it.
let me see the
No.
spot again. Show Cricket again on screen, Harris.
Africa?
Sorry,
I didn't see Africa.
Mary Birkholz goes, "No, you idiot." Put Cricket on screen again, please, so I can see Cricket again. There's a 3 or 4 second delay before it can come on. I really want to try to get this right because I feel it's like one of those like therapist things where like, what is?
Yes,
It
yes,
is.
yes,
It
yes.
kinda is.
It is.
What
kind
are
of
those things
that
called,
way.
Judah?
I
The
saw it.
thing with the therapists
Wait,
do?
she-
Like,
there she is.
there she is. I see.
We have to tilt your
You
head
have
the
to
other
kind of
way.
tilt your head a little bit to
is
get.
it a-
Yes, that's
yeah,
it.
Is it an elephant?
Well, he's in the right field
Yeah.
now. Instead of a country,
A
he's in an animal.
hippopotamus?
We think it looks kind of like another doggy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a sheepdog?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, when I said that to Mallory, she goes, "Oh yeah, I see that too."
It's like, what do you see in the clouds?
Yeah.
Everyone sees something different, Mary.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
We'll get back on track.
I got back. I got a little off track there. So one more thing before I toss something to Mallory, geez, is volunteers. Volunteers. We have a couple of kind of special needs. We'd be very excited to get a couple people who are seamstresses.
Okay.
Basic seamstress, basic sewing. We get a lot of blankets donated and larger linens for bedding for the animals, but some of them are way too big for our washing machine. And so if we could have someone cut them down into smaller pieces, hem them, that's it. That's all you need. It's, there's no styling needed or anything, just basic. Also, it's grass growing season, and we have lots to cut over at CFC. So anyone who wants to come out for a couple hours, some weed eating, some lawn mowing, and you get a treat of sitting next to one of the great dogs afterwards. Yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Caringforcreatures.org. If you want to get involved with CFC, please volunteer your time. Jacqueline Ann Myers is watching. Hello,
Hi, Jackie.
Susan's watching. Your page is blowing up, gal.
Good. I told
yeah.
everybody.
Linda
I was sending out reminder texts telling them to get on here.
Linda O'Connor's giving you some
That's my
props.
mom.
Okay, she says, "Hi, Mel." You're also getting props from Angie Bradley Barth,
Oh, yeah,
Julia
coworker.
Toloasso, Julia Tollo. Julia, I love you. I'm sorry I can't say your
Oh,
name.
CrossFit.
Kira Jahuda.
Yeah, friend from middle school.
All right.
there.
The
Yeah.
power of social media.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Like the show, share the show, whatever Facebook page you're watching. Why don't you introduce the fabulous Mallory?
So some of you may have met Mallory a little bit ago on the show. Mallory is a Caring for Creatures adoption counselor, and it's her job when the applications come in to be able to help the humans match up with an animal, a dog and or cat that we feel is a great fit for them based on what we know about the animals. Today we're going to focus more so on dogs because we've done cats already, but Mallory will give you a feel for how she approaches matching dog and human.
I love it. I'm excited
Yeah.
to learn. Angie Bradley Barth
Yes.
says, "What up, girl?" So, adoption of dogs. Talk to us.
Yeah, so adopting dogs is probably one of my favorite things about my job. But really, when we get an application in, we spend a good bit of time reviewing it. And I always go through certain things, and I'm definitely looking for certain things, if there are other animals in the household, kids, how many kids, what ages those children are, do they have a fenced-in backyard? And, one thing that we do for all of our applicants, if they have current animals or they've owned an animal in the past 10 years, we do vet checks on them. So we contact their vets for a reference. For dogs in particular, we're looking for things like your existing or previous animals. Were they spayed and neutered? Or were they kept up to date on their shots? Were they on heartworm preventative, that sort of thing? What happened to the animal if they're no longer around? Were they euthanized? Did they have some health issues? So those are the kinds of things that we're looking for, just trying to get a feel for how their animals have been taken care of. So we rely heavily on vet references as part of our review. That is if they have existing animals or previous animals. So it's something that we definitely look at, consider, have many discussions on. So we definitely have a level that needs to be met there. And there have been times that we've had to decline for certain reasons if we can't confirm certain things. We've had to decline the application simply because, we're doing our best to make sure that in rehoming these animals, that they're going to be given the care that they need, that we feel that they deserve, that they probably didn't have prior to getting to us, in a lot of cases. So those are the types of things that we're looking for with vet references. And then beyond that, once we're getting an idea of, what the lifestyle's like, then it's about what animal fits into that lifestyle. And sometimes I might have many options. Sometimes I don't have any options right now. But we're always getting dogs up from South Carolina. We're always getting animals in from this area as well. So we're always getting new animals in, but sometimes we don't have the right fit right now. But I always, once we get to a point where it's a good applicant and they might have someone in mind, or we have others in mind, we invite them out and to meet the animals and do, a showing. We take them for a little walk around our gorgeous property, and then we get into the arena and sort of have them interact one-on-one with the animals. I always tell people when we're in the arena, let the dog go around and sniff for a little while. They're going to be a little disengaged, but just give them a few moments to sniff and do their thing, their animal thing, and then they'll come over and usually be, trying to connect with you or from there. And then we just kind of see if they fall in love, if it's a mutual thing there, and then hopefully it leads to an adoption. It doesn't always. I had a great showing. Casey, Mary mentioned, she came up. I had people come out a couple weeks ago that were interested in a different dog that it turned out that just wasn't the right fit. So I invited them back out. I was like, let me introduce you to Max and Casey. So they came out, they met both of them, and just ultimately, while they love them both, I think Casey just sort of really fit into their lifestyle and their future too. They want to have children, and we know that Casey's done good with babies, and that. So those are things that we're talking about. We're thinking really, what's your life like now, but are there any future plans or anything else that we need to also be considering? So those are all the we spend a lot of time asking questions and yes, that's I mean, it's a lot of fun. I love seeing it happen, and then people making the decision that they want to move forward with someone's always a really exciting, happy day for everyone. And actually, in the case of KC, so another thing that we do that I don't think many people are aware of, if you meet an animal and you fall in love with that animal, but that for the present time, you're not quite ready to bring that animal into the home, whether it's because you're going out of work, out of town on work for a couple weeks, or you're going on vacation soon and you want to wait until after a date, we do hold animals until you're ready for them to come into the home. So, we just ask for a small deposit to put an animal on hold. We also ask that you're 100% committed to taking that animal, so we don't have that animal off the market and then you change your mind.
Of course,
and
that's not fair.
and then they've missed some opportunities there. So right. Casey is one of those. She's on hold, and there's going to be a couple weeks, probably till the end of the month, till she's actually adopted. But we have a few cases of that right now happening that we have animals on hold, but we're just waiting for things to settle down at home for that animal to go.
Cool.
Officially.
I'm going to acknowledge some of the viewers and then
Perfect.
throw it back to you. John White in Keswick, welcome to the show. Amy Carter, hello. Lauren Elaine Thompson, thank you for watching the Caring for Creatures show. Tim Ryan in Richmond. Bill Granford in Crozet, welcome to the program. If you could give it a like and give it a share, that would mean the world to us. Kayla Horst,
yes.
She says, get it, girl. So she loves what she's saying right now.
She's
Do you
the
like
best.
When I relay the messages?
I like you say just like she would. Yeah, that's how she would say it.
Vaughn Myers is giving you some props right now. Like and share the stream. We have a lot of comments on the Mary's page and CFC. Jacqueline Ann Myers says Joyce sues very well. She says I'm. What are you saying? What are you saying here, Jacqueline? I'm volunteering, Joyce Sykes. I'm volunteering. That's what she's saying.
Oh, okay.
She's trying to trick me, I think.
Yeah.
Susan has, and she would try to trick me, right?
Jackie could do
Probably.
that. Yeah.
Susan,
Just for entertainment.
yeah,
you know?
I think she's over there. Are you laughing right now?
She is, Jackie.
Probably is, because I remember meeting you on the show. And you're a Spitfire.
She's coming back.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
One of our best shows.
Yeah, she is. She's
I
coming
could
back.
just like sit for 30 minutes and watch Jacqueline talk and be animated. Susan has this question. Please share with us how you can find the perfect pet for a family if you don't have the exact pet currently at your sanctuary.
That's actually
That's
on my
one-
list.
it's on her
Susan.
list,
Yes, it's on my
and,
talking point list.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
So should we throw that to Mallory?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, so something that has happened successfully, we talked this morning probably
Yeah.
4 times in the past year since I've been here, is if we don't have an existing animal with us right now, something that I've done, and I always talk to the person, the potential adopter, before I do this to make sure that they're up for a leap of faith, I'll say. So something that we can do, I can contact Susan, who's actually our contact from a shelter that we pull a lot of at-risk animals from in South Carolina, and to see if she has anyone who would fit this family, and maybe it's even like a breed specifically that they're looking for, or a size, or an age, all these kinds of things. And I oftentimes will send her the application so she can check it out, and then she goes to her people, and it's like this whole thing, and she'll come back with some, and we've had several successful adoptions that way. Now, the only caveat is that if we're pulling an animal specifically for an adopter, they need to be there that day, the day of transport drop-off, and take that animal with them pretty much immediately after they're fed, usually.
Yeah.
So it's that's why it's a leap of faith. You're taking this dog without having met them, and you're just going to take them home. So we're bringing them up not because we have the space for them, but because there's someone stepping forward saying that they're going to advocate for this dog and take it with them.
But we do provide a safety net.
We do, yes.
So a safety net for these folks that, like Mallory says, at the same time that special dog is coming up, we may also have a couple of ours that we pulled, and there's only so much space. But if the dog they thought might work ends up not being okay, we want them to get back with us, because we will help the dog and take the dog and make sure the dog isn't dropped someplace, and we don't want it not to work.
No.
So we will take the dog.
How often does
anyway.
that happen?
More often than you would think.
Yeah?
Oh, well,
Not with this. Not with
not with
these.
this case.
I'm saying,
yeah.
so that's something that in general with any of our adoptions, if it does not work out for whatever reason it may be, that dog needs to come back to us. It's in our contract that we're the first person you contact if you can no longer take care of this dog, and we'll make the space for them. So that just not with the dog that's pulled directly for someone, but just any dog or cat that we get that doesn't work out, then we make the space, and that happens more often than you would think. I'm going to say it happens monthly.
Yeah?
It depends. I don't think we have a huge number of returns.
Yeah.
I think the percentage is maybe 1 or 2%,
Right.
but
I
it
think
goes.
you've gotten better with the matchmaking process, haven't you, over time?
Right, and that's why
Right.
we spend so much time.
Yes.
And and I don't want the people to think we're like the Gestapo and you're in this little closet with
Soup
a bright
Nazi.
light. Yeah.
No dog for you. Remember
I do. I remember all of them. I love that show. So it's not a Gestapo approach.
No.
And we ask a lot of questions because there's a reason we're doing that. We know things perhaps about these dogs, and based on your answers, we go, okay, no, that one might not be quite as good. And sometimes we're surprised, you know. I know that Mallory on occasion has said, you know what, let's just see if they're going to like this.
I've seen the questionnaire, and that's because we helped build a website and load it online. And I was like, this questionnaire is in depth.
And I've even seen a lot more in-depth ones than what we have.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some people ask for like 3 personal references and like, you know, all it's insane. We just want a reference from a vet, you know, someone that's provided medical care to your animal. But yeah, we want to do everything we possibly can to ensure that it's going to be a permanent fit for everybody. And I mean, another thing that we do, and I've been doing this with a dog that's currently on hold who recently came up, Franny. You know, if there's another dog involved, like the family has another existing dog, we like to do meet and greets. So we'll bring that dog out and we'll go for a walk and do this whole thing. And if we feel comfortable, then we'll go ahead and move in the arena. And then once everyone's on board and comfortable, we take off leashes and watch them interact and see how it goes. So we've been doing this with Franny, who is on hold. So far, she's had 2 meet and greets with her potential buddy, Smokey, and things have been going fantastic. And I mean, the adopter, she's actually a recent volunteer of ours. She asked if I could come over to her house like the day that we dropped Franny off and just make sure that everything's looking good, because they've had very bad experiences in the past of trying to rescue at other organizations, and it turned out very badly. So, you know, I think that she's trying to be very cautious too. So I'm like, yeah, come over. Like, we can do all that. You know, I want to make sure that it's a good fit and that everyone's comfortable, and, you know, hopefully it'll be something that works out for the rest of that animal's life.
Are the biggest challenges, and I don't want to assume, but the biggest challenges with homing a pet, whether or not they have an animal already in the home, and or whether or not they have the ability, either because of work or no backyard, or they're living in a city, to exercise the animal?
Those are definitely things that we look at and consider. Definitely, absolutely. Those are long discussions that we have.
How about the condo apartment complex issue?
You know,
well, it depends.
On the size of the dog.
And then that sometimes, or it depends. There are a lot of alternatives now that there weren't around 25 years ago, in the sense that people who come and exercise your dog, you do have to pay them. Dog walkers. There are some doggy daycare situations that can help break up the week. Some people live close enough to work, they go home at lunch and take their dog. So if there is a plan, you know, if we feel the dog can be crated, because often that's what they want to do, without going bonkers.
During the day?
During the day. Or we want to see that the person's thought this through and go, here's what you need to do. Because, you know, you could come home to, you know, parts of your wall missing, you know, and the carpet and the sofa's torn apart. And the drywall has holes in it. And I'm telling you, a big dog can do some damage if they're anxiety ridden or what have you. So it is an important consideration.
Heather D says, hey guys, I'm here watching. You guys look great. Linda Cortez, if you want a pet, and go to Caring for Creatures, adopt a dog now. Welcome Jonathan Galasso, who's watching in Crozet, to the program. Like and share the show. Give it a like, give it a share anywhere you're watching. We would certainly appreciate that. What else are you thinking over there, Mallory? You got a very thorough list over there.
I do.
You're organized.
Yeah, I try. Well, if you saw my desk, you would not agree, but I am in my
bullet
head.
Points and sub-bullet points and headers. All right, Mallory.
Really good at that.
Yeah.
Well, if we're ready for the video, we have a little video to share.
So Harris, do you want to cue the tape?
Or I can move on to something. Okay.
No, he's ready. You want to tell us, because he's going to have to count us down.
Yeah. So I'll talk about. Are
you going to talk over the video?
I won't. But I'll just a little background. So we actually weren't able to get a former dog adopter on the show like we did with cats, but we were lucky enough to have a family do a video for us, just kind of saying.
I love this idea.
what what it has meant adopting their dog Hugo from us. And this is actually a really special situation in regards to timing, and just sort of that oftentimes when you're met with hardships, that sometimes things are working towards a greater vision. So you're going to be seeing Emily Henley on the video here with Hugo, the CFC dog that was adopted last May. So
setting the
almost a year
background.
ago.
I'm just going to take this stuff over there, and you run this, and you know what you should really say? This is how I want you to handle this, Mallory. If you could say, Harris, roll the tape when you want the tape to roll, okay? Because that will make you such a badass.
I don't know if I can do that now.
You could do that. Come on.
But yeah, so Emily will be there with Hugo. They adopted him. They have 2 sons as well. Adopted Hugo last May. And Harrison, you can roll the tape if you're ready.
We came to
If it suits you,
you.
you can roll it.
Give us a hand signal when you're rolling the tape if you could. Harris Tolber's our director.
Adopting one of those puppies, and unfortunately, those puppies got sick within 24 hours of the adoption. But Caring for Creatures stepped up immediately and took care of the litter and took care of the family through the process of healing them. We knew they were an organization that was committed to doing the right thing. The puppy ended up being in rehab for several months, and during that time, our vet suggested that she was very motivated by other dogs. So we went back to Caring for Creatures to meet another dog we had seen and had an interest in. We spoke with Mallory on the phone, and she listened to what we were looking for and took the time to understand what would be good for our family and suggested that we meet Hugo. We went and met the other dog and then took the time to meet Hugo on Mallory's suggestion, and within 5 minutes we knew that Hugo was a great choice for us. Hugo has been with us for about a year now, and through the thorough application process and the time that Mallory and the staff took to understand what we needed and make sure that we were getting a good match, we found a good permanent member of our family member here. In the meantime, we found that Mallory had been working with the puppy, Lucy, and doing physical therapy with her, and that they had bonded. And it seemed like it was meant to be that Mallory adopt Lucy, and we got to take Hugo home. So a happy ending for both dogs, and happy ending for both families. So we appreciate all that Caring for Creatures does, and thank you for everything.
So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for getting that to us. And Hugo, what a guy, what a guy. It was really a perfect match. But if you knew, and Mallory's going to tell you this, what the family had to go through to get to Hugo, and what Mallory and her husband went through, connected to them as well. So Mallory, fill us all in.
So, I mean, it all kind of starts prior to even, a few months before his adoption last May. So Hugo came up from South Carolina, and he was adopted a few weeks after he arrived. He's this big black and white moose of a dog, but the biggest sweetheart. When you would go in to harness him, he would flop down on his back for some belly rubs, and just the biggest sweetheart. And so he got adopted a few weeks after he arrived. He was with that family for a couple of months, and there he is. He's so cute. And he was with that family for a couple of months, and ultimately he was brought back to us because he wasn't getting along with another dog in the household, which not uncommon. We understand when there's other dogs that can happen. Totally. So he was brought back to us, and then right around this time, I had actually started working at Caring for Creatures, and Hugo was my first owner surrender. It was a tough day. I'm the one that took him back to his pen, and I definitely had to kind of stay there and get my composure because I was bawling. He didn't understand what was going on, obviously, and it was a very emotional moment for me. So I had to gather my composure and then go back to work. But he was only there for about 2 weeks, and right around the same time, the Henleys, you saw Emily in the video there. She
seems awesome.
She is awesome.
Yeah.
They had adopted one of the puppies out of this litter that was found on the side of the road with her mother's body nearby, and they adopted one of these puppies. They're the puppies that came down with parvo. The one that they adopted was originally named Joy, and they renamed her Lucy. And so Lucy was the one in the litter that I spoke about last time on, if you saw me. But Lucy was the worst one of the bunch, and she ended up needed a full blood transfusion. And then after the transfusion, she was paralyzed in her back legs. So, the Henleys, they have 2 young children. I think the idea of then having a paralyzed dog that would need some rehabilitation was just overwhelming to think about. So at that time, they were still hoping and praying that Lucy would make a full recovery. Also at the time, Lucy was at Dr. Marty Betts' personal residence at his home.
Really?
For
He
6
took her
yeah,
home
for 6
to
weeks, he had
help
Lucy
support.
to monitor her and, provide her with some support. And during this time, Emily actually contacted us, and I spoke with her on the phone. And, she said that they always kind of spoke about having 2 dogs, but they wanted the puppy first and to get the puppy adjusted, but that they heard that Lucy loved dogs and was so motivated by them that maybe they would go ahead and get another dog now. And did we have any suggestions? She had a dog that she already had her eye on, and I was like, that he's a great dog, but there's this dog Hugo that just came back, and I just think that he would be wonderful. Like, we knew from Hugo, because previously the home that he was in that he ultimately had to come back from, they had a disabled son of some sort, and he and the son really connected. He was just a really gentle, giant kind of dog. So the Henleys came out on a day that I actually wasn't working, and I got the text message that they adopted Hugo, and I'm in the car driving home from Pennsylvania, and I'm bawling.
All over again.
Yes, I was. I'm emotional. I don't know if anyone could realize this.
I like it.
But I was bawling, and I was so excited for him. I was sad that I didn't get to say goodbye, but I was so happy for him that he got this other shot, and and then it just
Absolutely.
And it just worked out then that Lucy came back after Marty brought her back. And that's when I fell in love. And that's when I started taking Lucy home to kind of get her walking. And it was shortly after that I went up to Mary and I was like, I don't want to give her back. So can I keep her? So, we contacted the Henleys, and I think that they were just grateful that Lucy found a home.
Right.
And,
Another shot.
So yeah,
Exactly.
so it all kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Like, again, there was a lot of heartbreak because I know the Henleys, prior to even going forward with a puppy, before all of that happened, that they had went through a heartbreaking
Yes.
situation with the previous dog. I believe it was cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So they already had to see a dog very recently pass away and go through some, really tough stuff.
Right.
So
Brutal.
And then
Yeah.
the Lucy thing happened, but then enters Hugo, and it just, I think things just worked out the way that they were meant to.
I love that story.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
folks are watching the story. Edward Dean says, "This is cute. I love hearing this story. You guys are making my day. Welcome to the show, Edward and Joe Finazzo." You guys are getting some props on the CFC page. And Mary, I'll throw it to you next. Shannon Wampler, all the CFC staff is absolutely the best. Shannon says, Claus the winter puppy says hello and is watching with us now. Claus the winter. Who's Claus the winter
Oh my
puppy?
goodness, that litter.
That was another litter.
Oh, that litter was a gorgeous litter,
Yeah,
man, and
yeah,
smart. These dogs, we would take them to their pen. You would put them in a wagon,
With
like
this big
oh my gosh,
wagon. It was
imagine
very
a wagon
cool.
full of adorable puppies, and
Yeah.
you wagon them down. You tell them to sit, they all sit. And you
Really?
can
Uh,
yes,
I'm not kidding.
they
You
were.
had
There
no
was
problem
something about
getting them
these-
adopted,
They are
right?
so cute.
They were amazing.
No,
They
were
went right
great.
away.
they did.
They did,
Yeah.
yeah,
They.
yeah.
Yeah, they were a good litter.
Heather says Mallory's super organized in her own way. Her desk makes me itch, but I will say that she is super attention detailed oriented when it comes to picking the right animal for the right folks. And she isn't afraid to get in there with even the highest energy dogs. We have to make sure she knows them inside and out, and Mallory always does. And yes, your desk makes me itch.
You're probably not the only one. I think anyone sees
Why does your
it.
desk make her itch? I have to ask that question.
Quite honestly, I don't feel like I've ever had.
I think
time
her
to
desk looks
organize.
good compared to my office.
Yeah, I think we are kind
whoa,
of, but
we're the same that way.
We
Yeah.
are. But I don't think I've ever had the time to organize my desk the way I really want it to be. Because the moment I stepped through the door, it was like,
Let's
hit
go.
the ground running, and
Yeah.
I just haven't
Looks like you
stopped
are.
since.
That's what it. That's what you
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
So I just kind of, it's chaos.
Do you
but
see people at your desk? Or is it just strictly a workspace for you?
No, well, not at my desk. No, we have to move
There's
to
a
another
table.
table,
Yeah.
and that's assuming I don't have a cat condo in my office, which often happens with kittens coming in, which should be happening soon.
We're
Every
waiting.
space we can grab to put somebody. But yeah, if you walk into my office, I've got Grace, the dog, in there, who is not always welcoming to people she doesn't know. I have her separated, so
What, with, dog
she
fence?
can.
A gate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she can go to her outside space if she wants, but you give her a couple of treats, she quiets down and she's fine.
Yeah.
But it's a working place. I mean, there are no really truly clear desks
No.
there at our place. There's
and if
just
you clear something, 2 seconds
something
later,
else
there's
is
going to be
there.
something
Yeah.
else.
So it's just there's too many animal
ongoing.
things you have to deal with.
Yeah.
That the paperwork sometimes.
Dennis
gets set
O'Connor, I
aside.
love visiting Caring for Creatures whenever I get down to Virginia.
That's my dad.
Dennis O'Connor.
Hi, Dad.
Hello, Dennis. Welcome to the program. Why don't you, we got some people watching now. Why don't you put a little snapshot of the sanctuary?
Caring
who,
for
what, when, where, why?
creatures, yeah. Caring for creatures. I moved to Central Virginia, Fluvanna County in 1988 to go after my dream of creating a place for animals where they had more time to find their forever homes. And the volunteer work I used to do had me seeing dogs euthanized and someone coming in 2 weeks later looking for that kind of dog or cat. So I did that. We're situated on 157 acres.
That's awesome.
Rolling Hills in Fluvanna County. The dog areas, they have large fenced areas. They have condos, we call them dog condos, that are insulated and heated in the winter. So they're really quite cozy in there. The kitty areas, we have 2 kitty areas. One is called the Scratching Post. 6 rooms of cats there. Probably about 120 to 130 cats. We have another building of senior cats, and there it is. Yeah, that's
Nicely
our.
done, Harris
Yeah,
Culver.
boy, he's good.
He was in the library right there, my
yeah.
boy.
That's a bird's eye view you have
How'd you
right
get
there.
that shot?
Yeah.
Was that a drone?
Oh, an airplane.
Airplane?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, people who do that sort of thing. So the cats live community style. They're not in a kitty cage unless they have to be for observation, or they're just getting back from a medical procedure, what have you. It's peaceful. Many people might not, when visitors come, it might get a little bit rowdy now and again. But it is a peaceful place. It's a place where the animals can come and take a breath. They have space around them. They don't have to interact with anyone else if they don't want to. They have the time to just sort of balance themselves out, and then we help them get healthy on all levels, body, mind, spirit, and find their family or person.
I love it.
Yeah.
Turn that into a sizzle reel. That's a perfect sizzle reel with the highlight clips. And you just love working there.
I love it.
It's so obvious. I love it.
I still feel relatively new to Caring for Creatures.
How long?
A year. I celebrated a year April 11th, my husband's birthday.
Nice.
So I always remember it. But, so I still feel relatively new to Caring for Creatures, but also Virginia in general. I just moved down here last January. Still new. But I was really taken aback going into my interview what I was walking into. It was the complete opposite of what I was expecting. I did my homework that morning before my interview, reading up that I knew that we were on 157 acres, all that kind of stuff.
Did you try to impress Mary?
Yeah, of
Is
course.
Mary tough at an interview?
No?
Were you tough?
Not for me, no.
No, I don't think so.
It's easy to get caught up talking about everything.
Yeah.
Right.
The
It's so
interview
easy
was
to
quite
talk to.
long. Yeah, like we spoke for quite a while.
Because you like to talk too.
Yeah, sometimes.
You do like to talk.
Situation. But yeah, going in there is just, the grounds are absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite things to do, and when I first started, instead of taking actual lunch breaks, I would take a dog out for a walk. And we have all these walking trails. We have a pond. Like, it's just absolutely the best thing ever. And I don't have as much time these days, but when we get a new dog in, I always try to get him out because I want to, it just goes towards homing them. It just helps with that. So, I took Scout out, who we just got a couple weeks ago, and he's wonderful, by the way. So I just like getting out there and going for walks, and it's just relaxing. It's this therapeutic thing that you get to do, and
Who
it's
comes
part
up
of my
with all
job.
the names for the dogs?
Oh, that's an important thing. We all get together because
Yeah.
it can be rather
Yes.
difficult
What's
sometimes.
like a voting
because
situation?
not seriously
we
voting.
kind of
It's like
I'm the president. It's this.
well, I only step in if I think it's a negative name.
Yeah,
I go,
she-
don't do that
no.
to that animal.
Why?
Yeah.
What would be a negative name? Like
Well,
Killer,
Rambo or
yeah,
yeah.
something that
yeah.
I
No, we
don't
all
know.
sit around. We have like our phones out, our computers up. We're Googling things, like books out, like just all this stuff. We're like, let's do this. We're on a mission.
If
Litters
it's
are
a
fun.
theme, I was going to
Yeah.
say, if it's a litter, we
Yeah.
pick a theme.
You pick a
St.
theme for all
Patrick's
the
Day,
litter?
and
Yeah.
then all the puppies or kittens are
Yeah.
named.
Give me an
related
example.
to that.
Well, we
See,
had
well-
Claus was part of like the Christmas pups.
Yeah.
Who else was the name of the dog? Is the litter in Claus's litter?
So we had
Oh,
Frost.
geez, we need Heather for that.
Heather's
she never
the one
forgets.
that remembers everything.
Heather, if you know,
She's
put it on the
there,
stream.
or she
Heather, you're
was
watching.
there, yeah.
We had Frost, Rudolph, Claus, Joseph, Mary, Gabriel. I think we had 9. I
There's
had
way
6.
too many to remember.
Yeah, because we had 7 and then 2 more came in
Yeah.
after the fact.
That's true.
So I got 6 of them, Heather. You need to get the other
Heather,
3 in
save the
there.
day. Janet, is it Keir? K-E?
Care.
Care?
Yeah.
She
Hi,
says
Jan.
hello.
Hi, Jan.
You guys look great. Thank you, Janet, for watching the show. I enjoy when you come on the show.
I like being on the show. It's fun. I mean, I could go on, and I do, like with friends, and they get sick of it, about these animals and caring for creatures. Like, it's an easy topic to get carried away with, definitely.
What are we missing? Anything that we
We
should
are.
highlight?
Well, I do have a couple dogs I
Yes.
want to feature.
Okay.
If we want to get to that. So I wanted to pick out a few dogs that that are very adoptable dogs. However, they require a special home. So we're looking, if you know anybody who has a home or family that's suitable for these dogs, then please contact them and have them contact me. So the first one is Steffi. Steffi is wonderful. So Steffi is a bulldog mix. She's about 55 pounds. She's short and stout. She's about 11 years old. And in November, she will be celebrating her 10th anniversary at Caring for Creatures. So it is my goal to get her out the door before her 10th anniversary. So Steffi is actually a dog that I was drawn to, one of the first dogs I was drawn to at Caring for Creatures, and I wanted to take her home. And actually when my husband came out, because he went through volunteer orientation, Steffi was the one that spoke to him too. We always talked about adopting a senior dog.
Your husband sounds like the man.
Yeah,
He is.
He
He's
is.
a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy.
And he's all right. But so we both fell in love with Steffi. The only problem with Steffi, not a problem, it's just a need that she has, is that need is to not be around other four-legged things. So she can't go to a home with other dogs. She can't go to a home with cats. I have a cat, so that's why Steffi wasn't the right fit for me. But she is just wonderful. I love her so much. You go into her pen. Now, she's up there in age, and she has some hip stuff going on. So long walks are not for Steffi, but if you're looking for a lap dog,
Couch
a couch
potato.
potato,
Yeah.
Steffi is your
She's-
girl.
yeah.
She is, and she's great with children. I took my 5-year-old nephew into her pen and was like, you want to snuggle something? Here
Yeah.
she is. And, you know, Steffi just likes to cozy up next to you, lean on you, then flop over on her back for some belly rubs. And, you know, I can remember the one time I went in with her, because that's what I would do. I wouldn't ever really get Steffi out for walks. I would just go in there and hug her and snuggle her. And she got so excited one day, and she just started like racing around her pen. I was like, where's this coming from, Steffi? But she's just so fantastic. And another thing that's going on and Steffi's eligible for is that we are doing a adoption special for senior dogs. So she would be eligible for a $30 adoption. They're usually $125, but you know, we're doing something for our 30th anniversary, so she'd be part of that. I just think that Steffi's absolutely amazing, and she deserves a good home for the remaining time that she has.
Absolutely. Susan's got the names of the puppies.
Oh, okay.
There are 3 females, Winter, Mary, and
Winter.
Faith.
Yeah.
And 6 males, Rudolph, Frost, Claus, Jasper, Gabriel, and of course, Joseph.
Yes.
Yes.
Fred Sanford says, hello, Mary.
Hi, Fred.
Keep up the amazing, good, and caring work from Fred
Thank you.
Sanford. One more animal?
I do.
Who's this one?
This is Lucille.
Lucille.
Oh, goodness. Lucille, I'm telling you, is everybody's first favorite dog at Caring for Creatures when they come out. She is just, so she's a lab mix. She's kind of white lab. She has speckled ears. It's very cute. She actually and I think this is why I was instantly drawn to her. She reminds me of my childhood dog growing up. But Lucille is about 5 years old. The reason that Lucille needs a special home, she had been adopted out from us previously and was ultimately returned because in an effort to protect the children of the household, at one time she broke out of the house to protect the kids from a dog and a person walking on the street. So that was, you know, she's protective in that regard.
Just
because of that.
Reactive.
Yeah.
To
Because
other
of that,
dogs.
you know, she would need some special time being introed to dogs. She's selected with other dogs, so it would take exactly the proper fit. For her to be in a home with another dog. It would probably be preferred that she's not in a home with another dog and that she's not living in a neighborhood, so something on some land. No cats. Anytime Lucille escapes, she goes straight to the cats, which I learned the hard way. And so we know where she goes, at least we can get her. But
you can find her,
yeah,
but she might be mauling a cat.
She's smart.
Well,
she knows how to nudge out of the
if
gates.
you forget to put the clip on her gate handle.
And I did the one
she
time,
knows, and she takes her nose, flips it up, and says, "See ya."
Really?
Bye.
And she runs
then
around.
you chase after her screaming. But so she's just absolutely amazing. She just requires a special home, but she would make, if you have children, both of these dogs, if you have kids, these are wonderful, sweet, gentle dogs. Lucille, anytime I walk up to her pen, she is always sitting, smiling, wagging her tail, waiting for me. And if I give her a treat, she gently takes it from me. She'll press herself up against the pen and just kind of wait for you to pet her through the pen. It's quite pathetic, but she is so stinking sweet, and just really deserving of a
for
forever
both of
home.
these dogs, if you had a decent sized fenced in yard, would be perfect.
Yes.
There are areas that unfortunately a lot of folks who let their dogs run loose and yet have no recall on the dogs, at least that can work with running at some other dog. I mean, there's a lot of dogs that don't like a dog running loose coming up to if they're on a leash.
Right.
Of course.
And that's there's a lot of them like that. So, that's where dogs like Lucille and or Steffi may have a reactive situation. So a heavy populated, at least with dog owners, area might be challenging unless they have their own fenced area.
Richard Essig says, Caring for Creatures, great cause. Great job, Mallory. Glad to see you guys helping awesome animals. Love the show. Thank you, Richard. Got a question from one of the viewers. Jacqueline K says, how's Buddy?
Buddy. We're
We all
really
know
excited.
Buddy.
You guys love Buddy.
Yes,
But you
we
have
do.
no idea. So Buddy is actually, this is another interest. All these weird things happen that just work out. But Buddy is a 15-year-old corgi.
15.
He is so sweet. He has horrendous breath, but he's so sweet. He is partially blind and deaf, but he also is mostly paralyzed in his back legs. We recently got a volunteer donated a cart for him, so he's been adjusting to that. We just got it last week, and he'll move in it. But he actually was brought to us after his owner passed away. And it's actually, so last year for his birthday, his owner held a Buddy birthday party and collected donations for Caring for Creatures, and 20 people came out and presented us with all these donations. And then she called several weeks ago to do the same thing, and on the day that people were showing up at her house for Buddy's birthday, they found that she had passed away in the home. So they ended up reaching out to us, seeing if we could have space for Buddy, because no one had stepped forward to be able to take him, because he does have his special needs. And, we, of course, took him, and he's our office dog.
He's in our office.
Yeah, and he's right there at my desk, and his breath wafts over to me often. But he is so
He's
sweet.
special.
Oh, mine in the
He's so
morning.
special.
Buddy's got nothing on mine.
I don't know. He might. I think Buddy could kill something with his
You know
breath.
what? One of these days we have to get his video of his first cart experience. He did pretty well.
Yeah, no, he did. We do have a video of it. Shot it horizontally, so it shows up nicely on the feed. But
We should get 2 or 3 on each broadcast.
Yeah.
You could say this is a video of the cat condos. This is a video
Right.
of the was it the meditation garden? What did you call it?
The memory garden.
Memory garden.
Memory garden.
Yeah.
You can meditate there.
And it
so.
just
Yeah, it would be
personifies
nice.
the place.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
personifies
We'll
it
do that.
showcases the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sanctuary.
Yeah.
Great show. Anything else? Are we missing?
I think I've covered everything I was
Yeah.
going to
Yeah, I
cover.
think-
I don't, unless Mallory has something else.
No, I think that we're pretty.
I think all the bullet points
I
got
think I
crossed
got all of
right
them.
there. Even the
I
sub-bullet
did.
points.
Just the only thing that I have, adoption day photos. That's the only thing we take on
right,
adoption
right.
day. And
Yeah.
I don't know if my came up on the screen there.
Which one do you want to
But the
see? He's
adoption
got
day-
them.
It's the one of me, my husband, and Lucy. We're in the field. But anyways, I forced my husband to come out that day. He did
Yes,
not
she
need to
did.
be present for adoption day. He comes out on
I
a
like your
Saturday.
husband.
He
I've
ju-
never met him.
with
Sounds like
Lucy.
my kinda
You may
guy.
have. He was at the
He was
scavenger
at the
hunt.
scavenger
Scavenger
Okay.
hunt here
Okay.
last year.
Gotcha.
So, but that's one special thing that I've always thought was cool that we do on adoption day. After everything's finalized, we go out. I try to get the gorgeous landscape there, and we take a picture of the new family.
So the scavenger hunt must have been early on your
it was.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks after she started working.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. 'Cause
Yeah.
You said you celebrated the 1-year anniversary on April 11th, your man's birthday. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So it was like right after I
Yeah.
went to that scavenger hunt.
Mike Stanley, welcome to the program. Good engagement today. Like and share the stream. We archive all the shows on caringforcreatures.org.
Yep.
Mary mentioned she needs help with grass cutting at the sanctuary.
I mean, we
And-
have a grounds person, but he needs help. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to cut out there. Yeah, yeah.
And then you have the seamstress.
Yes, if you can cut blankets, hem them, that's what we need.
If you can
So-
hem and cut blankets, please provide them to Caring for Creatures or help Caring.
We have the blankets. We just need someone to cut them into smaller sections and hem them, and we'll get them back.
Okay, we do that.
Yeah.
Caringforcreatures.org. We archive all the shows at cfc.org, caringforcreatures.org. Follow them on Facebook. The Facebook page is so dynamic. They do a really good job of spotlighting and personifying the animals. You should come back.
I think,
Of course,
Maybe
absolutely.
back in a
We'll
few
always
weeks.
have stories,
Yeah.
and we'll start getting some more videos together.
Yeah,
and,
the video's a good idea.
entertaining people.
Yes.
I want to get one of those. What do you call those cams you put in like one of the cat rooms?
Was it like a GoPro?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it just sits there and watches
Yeah, just
what
kind
they
of monitors.
Lauren, who's watching the show, Lauren, did you hear that? She had this idea, and I was supposed to be relaying this to you. And she's like, you should have a stream of the cats or the
Yeah,
dogs.
yeah.
And then people will just go to the
Can
Caring
tune
for
into
Creatures
the
That would be
stream.
so
Yeah.
.org website
Yeah.
and just watch it.
Yeah.
I've seen it with like the eagles
Yeah.
on
Yes.
the eagle's
Yeah.
nest,
Yes,
and
the
that had
nest,
like
yeah.
hundreds of
Yeah.
thousands.
I
Like
know.
it was like millions of
Yeah.
views.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
that
talking
giraffe
about?
That they were waiting. What was that giraffe
At the
name?
zoo.
They're waiting
Yeah.
to have
To
give
birth.
Baby, yeah.
For like weeks and weeks.
That's
and it was
right.
this big thing.
You could probably
Yeah.
get an answer for that, like a Crutchfield or something.
Yeah.
Guys, this was a fun show. I
Yes.
thoroughly enjoyed this.
Me too.
Me
It was
too.
fun.
I
It was
always
fun.
enjoy.
Caringforcreatures.org. Follow them on Facebook and go to their website. Volunteer, donate, get involved. Cat Cam, see, she's
That's
watching.
it. That's it. Yeah.
She's a good.
She is good.
Yeah, thank
But
you,
we
Lauren.
knew that.
I did know that. Thank you. She's awesome. She's amazing. You're amazing, sweetheart. Watch the show Thursdays at 3 p.m. on the I Love Seaville network, and just support this organization. It's Central Virginia's longest running animal sanctuary, no-kill animal sanctuary. I mean, Mary Birkholz, 30-plus years of her life,
I know. How about that?
and she is only 41 years old. She started at 11.
Oh, yo. I don't know I want to go back that far.
started
You know, if
what?
I could pick an age, I'd pick 50.
Why?
I don't know, because I was much smarter by the
Okay.
time I got to be 50.
Okay.
But yet my body hadn't started deteriorating.
The body
You
hasn't
know,
deteriorated.
no, but I mean, the back stiffness. After you lift 70-pound dogs for a few years, your back goes, okay, that's all we're
Are
doing.
you lifting the 50-pound bags of dog food?
No, not now.
Okay.
No.
Do you have the
But
dog foods that big? The bags?
40.
40?
30 and 40.
Yeah, ours are 55. It is
Yeah,
brutal.
It is brutal.
It's like dead weight.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was something I was going to say, but I got way off track on
What's
that
your
one.
age? If you
It
go
was
back
my
to 50.
age. Yeah, if I went back to 50, I should go there now.
Oh, you're saying you wouldn't be off track
Yeah.
if you were at 50. Very Birkholz. You brought some humor today. All right, we're going to close the show down, guys. It's caringforcreatures.org, the website, and we thoroughly thank you and appreciate you joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys. Good work. Nicely done, Mallory.